Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only the best. I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only the best. I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
Hi guys, how are you? Happy Monday. I hope everyone's having a good day. Lots of stuff happening today in the case of baby Halo. And mom was charged today, initially with second-degree manslaughter. However, due to the autopsy report coming back, the district attorney has stated the charges will be upgraded to second-degree murder. So there is a lot that we are going to get through today. What you see on the screen is what Miss Nelson posted on Facebook shortly before Halo was reported missing. And we're going to get into what occurred. And it turns out that some of the rumors that I had mentioned yesterday that I wasn't going to repeat actually were true. So we're going to get, again, some clarification on what happened, what may have happened, where baby was found, where mom was found. And yeah, it's pretty disturbing, to say the least. So thanks for being here. I see Gina, Remy, Kay Braze. I agree. Super sad. Super sad. Hey, Pookie. Oh, no, that's so sad. Pookie, send me that story if you don't mind. Hey, Ash. Oh, and Ash, before I forget, thank you so much for your gift. I haven't put the cat thing together yet, but they are going to love it. So thank you for that. And thank you also for the matte lipstick or lip gloss. Super exciting. So you didn't have to do that, but it is appreciated. I did get it today. Hey, Road Rash. Good to see you, Sinner. Mitten Mama, hey there. I was actually watching you in the bushes just not too long ago while I was getting ready for my live. Oh, thank you, Pookie. So, again, this post, rumors yesterday that we heard was that mom was drunk, walked, left the house with baby, and was so drunk that she lost her baby. When they found her, she was by herself with no baby. And so the Amber Alert had gone out yesterday morning. We got it at 11:35 a.m. And by around 1:30, around 2 hours later, the Amber Alert was canceled because baby Halo had been located. That's a good question, Remy. That's a good question. So with the police, giving that description of a woman wearing black pants, that was mom. She was arrested yesterday. So we did see the presser yesterday afternoon. It was about 4:30. Well, they had the presser around 4:30 Eastern, and then I went live a little bit later. She was arrested yesterday. So I'm just going to show you. This is the case detail summary. And again, she had her first appearance today in Schenectady City Court. She was born in 1999. And so again, the incident was March 9th, which was on Saturday evening, or actually Saturday night. She was arrested yesterday, and she does have a public offender. Oops, actually, hold on, y'all. I forgot to make this bigger. I'm trying out some new things, but only having one screen makes things a little bit difficult. I guess I'll leave it like that. And then her next appearance was actually today, March 11th. At 9 a.m. she went before a judge. So they did televise the first appearance, but the audio is not great. So I'm not going to play it because you can't really hear anything that's going on. And so this is, if anyone's interested, this is New York State Unified Court System. All I had to do was create an account. I put in Persia's name, and this came up. Yeah. So this, the charges here, as you can see, if I click on here, again, she was arraigned and pled not guilty to manslaughter in the second degree. However, as I said at the beginning of the live, the charges have been upgraded to, will be upgraded to second degree murder. And so let me go back to, actually, we're going to go here first. So this article is from the Daily Gazette, and this kind of gives an overview of everything that's happened, everything that has happened, and then we're going to get into the press conference that they had, as well as some video of the first appearance. Thank you, SoFlo Mom. I appreciate that. I know, SoFlo, it's, I mean, and, So at work today, one of the kids had actually told me what they had seen on social media, and I was like, "Oh no, those are just rumors." And so after the kids left, I checked the news, and sure enough, she had been arrested, and her Facebook posts are being shared through the news media, as well as other social media. There's also a video that was posted on Snapchat the night that baby Halo went missing. And there were several people in the home. You can see Persia with Halo. She's holding Halo. And the caption was, "This is going to be a mess to clean up," or something like that. It wasn't the mom that posted it, was another person that posted it onto Snapchat. I will not be sharing that because I don't think it's relevant. But it did show Persia with Halo just before all of this happened. So, charge against Persia Nelson, Halo Branton's mother, upgraded to murder with press conference. So again, we are going to check out that press conference later in the live. Hey, Yanni, good to see you. So this says a blanket and stuffed animals are placed at a stop sign at the corner of Campbell Ave and 12th Street, where crime scene tape is attached, and a Schenectady Police Department vehicle blocks the road adjacent to Hillhurst Park. So again, just to give you an idea of where this happened. Let me put these layers on. So you're going to see, let me just move this over. So before I zoom out a little, so this is Campbell Avenue. This is 12th Street. So this is the corner where we just saw where that memorial was being gathered, I guess you could say. And this is Hillhurst Park. If you zoom out, so again, this is where police had cordoned off the street. This is the General Electric campus, and this is where Persia was located by General Electric security the evening that baby Halo was reported missing. She was located without her baby. What they did for a living, I don't know. She is 26 years old. Not sure if she was employed, but that's a good question. And this isn't very far from, maybe a quarter mile from where, baby Halo was reported missing to where they were found. But mom definitely walked quite a distance to end up over here. Okay, so going back. So the mother of baby Halo Branton is now charged with murder in her death. Persia Nelson, 24. I misspoke. She is 24, not 26. Was originally charged with second-degree manslaughter in Halo Branton's death. But that charge was being upgraded to second-degree murder, depraved indifference to human life, Schenectady County DA Robert Carney said in an afternoon press conference. The upgraded charge comes after an autopsy on the child showed Halo died of exposure, hypothermia. So baby Halo was found in a 10-foot deep pipe. When they found the baby, there was water in said pipe at the bottom. However, baby Halo's head was above the water. So she would or could have survived if it wasn't so cold. And it was, like I said yesterday, it was freezing. It was below freezing here in New York. Very cold. Okay. And here she is in court. Persia. The baby had been dropped into a utility tunnel on the GE campus about 8 feet to the bottom. Okay, so this is an earlier article I had seen had said 10 feet. So about 8 feet. So she was dropped into this utility tunnel pipe type thing where she was there, where there was standing water that came up to her chest. The baby did not drown. The baby was in the water, which came up to her chest and around her head, but not her face. Nelson was found in a GE heated building, Carney said. Nelson was arraigned Monday morning and ordered held on $500,000 bail or $1 million bond. That's what I had read earlier. The allegations are that she dropped that child down pipe access, a hole in the ground essentially, on the GE plant's grounds, prosecutor Matthew Nobles told the court at Nelson's arraignment. That was approximately 10 feet deep and left the child there essentially to die without seeking any help whatsoever. Nobles' comments in court mirrored the charging document in Nelson's case. The charge is based on the investigation and, quote, video footage, according to the allegations. At Monday afternoon's press conference, Schenectady Police Chief Eric Clifford outlined the sequence of events from Saturday night when police were first notified that Halo was missing, through the Amber Alert being issued and until Halo's discovery. The first call came in at 11:04 p.m. Saturday night from General Electric Security. Security reported finding a female trespasser identified as Nelson, who reported she didn't know how she got there and claimed to have lost her child. Police responded, interviewed Nelson, and began looking for the child. Authorities declined to comment on whether Nelson had been incapacitated or under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time of the incident. 10. So it is, so if you think of, it's like a tunnel or a pipe. So it's, I'm not sure how to exactly to explain it, but it was they were saying 8 feet, 10 feet. So it's just like a pipe that's vertical. If you think about a well, kind of, this isn't obviously as deep as a well, but although I guess it could be as deep as a well, 10 feet, 8 to 10 feet. So she dropped the baby into this tunnel/pipe. And again, just to remind us, this is what Persia had posted the night baby Halo went missing at 8:16 p.m. I'm drunk as F. Don't play with me right now. LMFAOOO. So 8:16 p.m. And then she was found. Well, the call came in at 11:04 p.m. So about 3 hours later. Yes, good enough to text though. That is true, K-Breeze. That is true. This pipe was in a shed or a building, or it's just wide open. That is a good question. We may be able to, so it just says on the GE plant grounds. So I would assume that it was not in a building. And I'm looking at the map, but it's hard to see anything that might. But they did say they found her in a heated building, which, if we go back to the map, would mean that the mom brought the baby somewhere, where there was a building. I'm just going to zoom in and see. Okay, so this looks, when I think about a pipe or a tunnel, I think of something smaller. I'm not exactly sure what these things are, but I would assume that those are some type of, that's what I think of when you think of a pipe or tunnel. It could be anywhere on this campus. I don't think it would be over here. That's the main building. I'm just going to go and see. Let's see. And just so that you can get a sense of, so General Electric, of course, we've probably heard of GE. I'm going to show, let's see. It's a little blurry, but this is the General Electric campus. So when you travel on Interstate 890, what you see initially is this General Electric building that has the GE. Let me try to find a better picture. I don't know why they're all coming out so blurry. So weird. I don't know why they're coming out so blurry. I'll try to find a different picture, but so this is the main building here, and then you have the smaller buildings. But it's a pretty big campus, so in theory they could have been anywhere. Hey Jingles, good to see you. Yeah, so Pookie, I'm not sure why. I don't know what she was thinking. Only she knows, if she even remembers. That's a really good question. Oh, all right. Give me 1 second, y'all. Sorry, there's two cats hissing at each other. They're just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, so again, the first call came in at 11:04 p.m. when security reported finding a female trespasser identified as Nelson. who reported she didn't know how she got there and claimed to have lost her child. Police responded, interviewed Nelson, and began looking for the child. Authorities declined to comment on whether Nelson had been incapacitated or under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time of the incident. She didn't know where she was. I'll leave it at that, Clifford said. Police then called in additional resources and were able to connect Nelson to an address on Campbell Avenue and the dead end of 12th Street. They identified that as where she entered the campus. Police then conducted a search using canines, drones, and personnel on foot as they looked for what they believed was a lost 1-year-old child. After hours of searching, police asked for assistance in a grid search from New York State Police and State Forest Rangers. As the morning came, it was also decided that we could not rule out an abduction or the child being exposed to some other dangerous situation, so we decided to put out an Amber Alert. Then, at 12:30 p.m., members of the police department's SWAT team, patrol officers, found Halo inside a utility tunnel structure located in the GE campus. Medics were requested, and she was brought to Ellis Hospital by members of the Schenectady Fire Department and Mohawk Ambulance. They performed life-saving measures, but she never regained her vitals and was declared dead at 1:24 p.m. Clifford prefaced his remarks by sending condolences to Halo's family. Before I begin, on behalf of the men and women of the Schenectady Police Department and all agencies that participated in this search, I'd like to send our condolences, thoughts, and prayers to Halo's family on the loss of Halo. I know I speak for every first responder on scene and at the Unified Communications Center when I say that yesterday was a difficult day. What a strange place to find a baby. Agreed. Yeah. Regarding the Amber Alert, an error in the system created a delay in the Amber Alert being sent out publicly Sunday morning of about an hour and 5 minutes. Okay, so that means we got the Amber Alert at 11:35. So that means it should have went out at 10:30. 10:30 a.m. is when it should have went through. Yes, her birthday is April 14th. April 14th is her birthday. So she would have been 11 months old on Thursday. A solution to the issue is being worked on by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Persia Nelson's arraignment. Prosecutor Michael Nobles asked Judge Carl Federico to order Nelson be held without bail, saying she is a flight risk as she has no connections to the area. Nobles told the judge that Nelson had only been in the Schenectady area since November, and before that had temporarily stayed in a shelter in Albany County. Nelson is originally from Columbia County and has another child in that county. Nelson does not have custody of her other child and has only limited contact with them. The investigation is ongoing. There is simply more to this than other manslaughter cases we see, giving her, Nelson, an increased risk of flight. Nelson was represented by Schenectady Public Defender Stephen Signor. He told the judge it is his understanding that Nelson does not have a criminal history. The judge set Nelson's bail at $500,000 cash and $1 million bond. Her next court appearance is scheduled for March 14th at 1:30 p.m. in Schenectady City Court. The upgraded charge, however, could delay that, Carney said, and prosecutors will be, quote, proceeding to the grand jury expeditiously. Halo would have officially turned 11 months old March 14th. Halo had been the subject of an Amber Alert last seen Saturday evening. She was found by search crews around the General Electric campus early Sunday afternoon and rushed to a local hospital by Mohawk Ambulance, where she died. Halo had been last seen at about 9:15 p.m. Saturday at 12th Street and Campbell Avenue. And again, remember, 1 hour before is when Mom posted that she was drunk as F. Don't play with me right now. LMFAO. Authorities began searching for Halo after 11 p.m. Saturday. The scope of rescue efforts conducted throughout the night and into the day, Sunday, was around the Hillhurst Park area. Hayton says, I get the hate for the mom, but we need to open our eyes more. Some people never leave their homes figuratively, or seems we need to widen our knowledge of other walks of life. Yeah, and I mean, I don't have any hate for the mom. I think that, I mean, none of us know exactly what happened. I don't think she even realizes what may have happened. But she had no emotion whatsoever in court today. I mean, again, it could be a defense mechanism. It could just be pride, not wanting to show emotion in court. But I can only imagine if how I feel when I lose one of my loved ones. It just seems a little, unemotional of her. So first video we're going to get into is just an update, like a summary of what happened prior. So this was from last night, where they talk about the Amber Alert being canceled and updates through yesterday.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Cassie Hudson. We are continuing to follow the case of a missing 10-month-old infant, changing from a missing persons case to a criminal case, according to Schenectady Police. News 10's Anthony Kurlikowski joins us live in studio with the latest on the investigation. Anthony, what can you tell us?
Good evening, Cassie. After 11 p.m. yesterday evening, Schenectady Police was tipped that Halo R. Branton, an almost 11-month-old infant, was possibly missing in the city.
And again, this was Saturday night. So this was March 9th, which is also the same day that Mom posted on Facebook about being impaired.
Amber Alert being issued this morning for the baby was canceled only 2 hours later, as multiple agencies responding were able to locate her. Search efforts centering around both Hillhurst Park and the GE campus. The FBI and DEC working with multiple departments on the local and state level, locating the child on public property.
Halo was located by a search team of officers. She was rushed to Ellis Hospital by Mohawk Ambulance and the Schenectady Fire Department. I am saddened to report today that she's passed away this afternoon.
The cause of Halo's death is still undetermined. PIO Mashrone says multiple people are being interviewed surrounding the child's death. As both Schenectady and state police continue to look for answers, they tell us the investigation is now considered criminal.
We've asked for the public's assistance and we've received it. We've put out a call for if anybody had Ring doorbell cameras, any type of outside surveillance, if they could please provide that information to us.
Law enforcement did not comment on the infant's parents, but someone claiming to be a family member spoke to News 10 after the press conference.
She was beautiful. She was charming. She was very intelligent, you know what I mean? And she looks just like her father. She has a brother. I think he's about 3 now.
Nairi says that Halo's father, her cousin, was still at the hospital and they both hope for justice.
A baby in the cold. It was raining last night.
Yeah, it was raining. It had been snowing at times. Again, it was below freezing overnight. So
what were you doing outside in the cold? Raining at 9 o'clock at night. It was pouring.
The Schenectady Police Department is asking the public for any video footage from the area around Hillhurst Park, Campbell Ave, or 12th Street. You can scan the QR code on your screen to submit evidence, or also contact their tip line at the number shown. Make sure to stay with News 10 both on air and online as we continue to learn more. Reporting live in studio, Anthony Kurlikowski, News 10 ABC.
Okay, so this is the short video of the first appearance of Mom in court.
Breaking news in the case of the baby found in Schenectady yesterday after an Amber Alert. The mother of 10-month-old Halo Branton is now charged in her death. Stella Porter is outside Schenectady Police Headquarters. Stella, the details from police are harrowing.
They are, Faith. These court documents we just got say that baby Halo died when that mother dropped her down what police are calling a 10-foot deep pipe access area on GE's campus. That mother appeared before a judge this morning. She is 24-year-old Persia Nelson. She is facing second-degree manslaughter charges in baby Halo's death. This morning, she was represented by public defender Steven Sign.
Oop, shoot. Sorry, I hate these ads. So again, I'm just going to rewind a little bit. So again, her first appearance, she was charged with second-degree manslaughter. However, the district attorney has stated that the charges will be upgraded to second-degree murder because of the details released in baby Halo's autopsy report. And just quickly to show the difference between each in New York State, I have the New York State Penal Code. So again, this is what Persia was initially charged with, which is manslaughter in the second degree or reckless homicide. And it says, under our law, a person is guilty of manslaughter in the second degree when that person recklessly causes the death of another person. The following term used in that definition has a special meaning. A person acts recklessly with respect to a death when that person engages in conduct which creates or contributes to a substantial and unjustifiable risk that another person's death will occur, and when he or she is aware of and consciously disregards that risk, and when that risk is of such nature and degree that disregard of it constitutes a gross deviation from the standard of conduct that a reasonable person would observe in that situation. Note, where there is evidence of voluntary intoxication on the part of the defendant, add, a person also acts recklessly when he or she creates such a risk but is unaware of that risk solely by reason of his or her voluntary intoxication. In order for you to find the defendant guilty of this crime, the people are required to prove from all the evidence in the case, beyond a reasonable doubt, both of the following two elements. One, that on or about the date in the county of whichever, the defendant caused the death of. Two, that the defendant did so recklessly. And then they just kind of give, if that is what the people find, then you must find the defendant guilty. And so now, however, Persia is going to be charged with murder in the second degree. And I forgot to tell you the sentence for second degree manslaughter, which now I can't find the tab that I had that told us. Oh, this might be it. Give me 1 second here. I legit just had it and now, oh, here. So because manslaughter in the second degree is a Class C felony, if you are convicted, you could be sentenced up to 15 years in state prison and be ordered to pay a substantial fine. So that would be manslaughter in the second degree. Murder in the second degree, which is intentional homicide. So again, manslaughter in the second degree was reckless murder, now this is intentional homicide. So the count is murder in the second degree. Under our law, a person is guilty of murder in the second degree when, with intent to cause the death of another person, he or she causes the death of such person or of a third person. The following term used in that definition has special meaning. Intent means conscious, objective, or purpose. Thus, a person acts with intent to cause the death of another when that person's conscious, objective, or purpose is to cause the death of another. Note, in a case of transferred intent, add the following paragraph. Under our law, it is not required that the person who dies be the same person whose death was intended to be caused. In order for you to find the defendant guilty of this crime, the people are required to prove from all the evidence in the case beyond a reasonable doubt both of the following two elements. That on or about said date, the defendant caused the death of said person. 2, that the defendant did so with the intent to cause the death. And again, if those two elements are answered yes, then you must find the defendant guilty of said crime. Hey, Lisa. And the sentence for second-degree murder, I'm just going to look up because when I had initially started to prepare for my live, I didn't realize that the charges had been upgraded. Will be upgraded. So for second-degree murder in New York State, it is punishable by 15 to 25 years in prison or life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 25 years. If the victim was under 14, so this is the important thing in regards to Persia's case, if the victim was under 14, the punishment is life without parole. So if found guilty, Persia Nelson will be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. So a stark difference between manslaughter and murder.
This morning, she was represented by public defender Stephen Signori. That hearing lasted about 10 minutes. Court documents say the crime took place on Saturday night at 10 p.m. The Amber Alert for baby Halo went out on Sunday morning. The baby was found on GE's campus Sunday afternoon, and rushed to Ellis Hospital, where she later died. Today, we are learning that mother has no criminal history, but prosecutors said she has another child in Columbia County who she does not have custody of. The judge denied prosecutor Mike Noble's request to remand Nelson to jail. Instead, he set bail at $500,000. In just a couple minutes here at Schenectady Police Headquarters, we are expecting a news briefing with more details from police. And of course, we'll be asking questions and trying to learn more details on baby Halo's death. That is the latest here live in Schenectady. Stella Porter, News Channel 13. Faith, back to you.
I agree. Super tragic. So we are now getting into the press conference that law enforcement held a couple of hours ago. Well, now it was probably about 4 hours ago. I think it was around 1 Eastern, possibly later. So this we'll take a look at as well.
Good afternoon. I'm Faith King. This is a News Channel 13 special report. The mother of the baby found dead in Schenectady after an Amber Alert yesterday is now charged with manslaughter in the child's death. The Schenectady Police Department is giving an update on the case right now. Let's take you there live.
We have District Attorney Robert Carney, ADA Christina Tremonti. From the Federal Bureau of Investigation, we have Assistant Special Agent in Charge, Don Zupano. From New York State Police, Major Dennis Shager and BCI Captain Christopher Gilroy. From the Schenectady County Sheriff's Office, Chief Deputy John Lubrandt, Lieutenant Milton Johnson, K-9 Administrator Jeff Calder. From Schenectady Fire Department, Chief Don Moreno. From New York State DEC Forest Rangers, Major David Pachin. From the Office of Fire Prevention and Control, Branch Chief Bob Jewell and Deputy State Fire Administrator William Davis. We also received assistance from the Albany County Sheriff's Office and General Electric Security. So before we brief on the case, I just want to stress the amount of help that we received from each one of these agencies throughout the night and through the morning, between the support of different canine units, drone units, New York State Police Aviation. We just received a tremendous outpouring of assistance with this case. So I just want to spend that time to say thank you to these agencies for what they've done. And now I'll call up Chief Clifford, who will be briefing you on the case.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Thank you all for coming this afternoon. We'll give you a briefing. As the lieutenant had mentioned, this was a very complicated case, hence it required many resources. So I thank every one of our partners for being here. Halo Branton was reported to us missing yesterday, located in the afternoon, and subsequently passed away at Ellis Hospital. Before I begin, on behalf of the men and women of the Schenectady Police Department and all agencies that participated in the search, I'd like to send our condolences, thoughts, and prayers to Halo's family on the loss of Halo. I know I speak for every first responder on the scene and at the Unified Communications Center when I say that yesterday was a difficult day. I'm going to go through a timeline of events yesterday. This is an ongoing investigation, so it's my goal to brief the public on the circumstances that led us to request their assistance. At 11:04 p.m. on March 9th, the Schenectady County Unified Communications Center received a call from GE Security that there was a female trespasser on scene and didn't know how she got there, and she claimed to have lost her child. Responding officers interviewed the female, now known to be Persia Nelson, and began looking for the child. Unable to locate the child, they requested additional resources to assess where to expand their search. It took some time, but officers were able to connect an address on Campbell Avenue to the female, and this ultimately led officers to the dead end of 12th Street, where they were able to identify where the female went with her baby and a location where she entered the GE campus. Once that location was established, a thorough search was conducted using canines to track drones and personnel on foot. At this point, officers were looking for a lost one-year-old child. After hours of searching and unable to locate her, state police and state forest rangers were contacted to assist with conducting a grid search on the GE campus. As the morning came, it was also decided that we could not rule out an abduction or the child being exposed to some other dangerous situation. So we decided to put out an Amber Alert. At 12:30 p.m., one of the search teams on the GE campus found Halo inside a utility tunnel structure located on the GE campus. Medics were requested, and she was brought to Ellis Hospital by members of the Schenectady Fire Department and Mohawk Ambulance, where life-saving efforts were performed, but unfortunately, she never regained her vitals and was declared deceased at 1:24 p.m. Persia Nelson was charged last evening with 1 count of manslaughter. An additional charge of murder in the second degree, depraved indifference, is being filed right now. I'll now turn it over to our District Attorney, Robert Carney, who will discuss the charges filed.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you for coming. It's nice to see you here. I'm sorry it's under such profoundly sad circumstances. I must say at the outset of my remarks what I'm required to say every time we do something like this, which is these are charges filed against Ms. Nelson at this time. They are only accusations. She is entitled to the presumption of innocence. and all of her other rights, including the right ultimately to a fair trial before her peers. First, let me tell you what happened in court this morning. Judge Falatico arraigned Ms. Nelson. She was held on $500,000 cash, $1 million secured bond, or $5 million partially secured. Judge Falatico adjourned the case to Thursday at 1:30 for a preliminary hearing. My assistant district attorney, Mike Nobles, handled the arraignment. He's present here today. And as previously indicated, my deputy chief assistant district attorney and chief of the homicide bureau, Christina Tremonti, was involved in this case, and she went to the scene yesterday and spent some time being briefed by the investigators. This morning, an autopsy was conducted by Dr. Eng at Ellis Hospital. Based upon his findings that this child died of exposure and hypothermia, the decision was made to file additional charges. The baby was dropped into this utility tunnel from a height of about 8 feet to the bottom of the tunnel where there was standing water. The baby did not drown. The baby was in the water, which came up to her chest and around her head, but not her face. Her mother was found in a GE security building, which was heated. So based upon the fact that this additional charge is being filed, I doubt whether the preliminary hearing will occur on Thursday. That will give us a little more time, but we will be proceeding to grand jury expeditiously on this case. The additional charge that is filed is a charge of depraved murder in violation of section 125.25, subdivision 1 of the penal law. Is that subdivision 4? Subdivision 4 of the penal law, which is a branch of depraved mind murder that requires us to prove under circumstances evincing a depraved indifference to human life and being 18 years old or older or more, recklessly engaged in conduct which creates a grave risk of serious physical injury or death to another person less than 11 years old, and thereby causes the death of that person. So that's the theory that is now being charged or will be soon lodged against her. And we will seek to present that as well as the prior charges to a grand jury, as I said, within the near future. So that's my general comments. Chief, I'll turn it back to you for Q&A.
Yeah, we'll open up the questions for this time. Best we can.
Was the mother incapacitated in any way when she was found?
She didn't know where she was. I'll leave it at that.
Can you talk about the lag between when you got that notification from police that he was missing and then when the paperwork went out? What is that system like, and what did it take to put out that information?
And so, not to exactly cut him off, but when you look at the GE campus, so what they're showing on like the videos is the main entrance, which if we look at the campus itself, I mean, it's pretty significant. And the main entrance is here. So this is actually not there, over here. So this is what they're showing is when you get off Interstate 890, this is where the initial entrance is. But then if you look again, because some of you may have come in a little bit late, where the baby, so this dead end is where, this is where police had cordoned off at Campbell and 12th. The home that Persia lived in with baby Halo was on this dead end, somewhere at the end of the dead end. And so initially they also had been searching Hillhurst Park, which is, right next door. You cross, these actually look like older railroad tracks. Maybe they're still in use, not sure. But the mom would have had to somehow get over, like, through the trees. I'm assuming she cut through the trees and then ended up over here somewhere. Again, I don't know exactly how she got there, but I would assume that she had gone through these trees, crossed over the tracks, and then ended up over here. Unfortunately, I had tried to see if we could do the walking, but the walking doesn't go inside the GE campus. It only goes, to the entrances. You can only go so far. Actually, let me click on this one and see. Yeah, so this is kind of like an access road, because here's the campus over here. Yeah. We do not have the death penalty. We do not. We used to, not anymore.
Maybe you want to talk about that. Sure.
First, your name, sir?
Dennis Shager, Troop Commander, Troop G. So there's a lot of criteria that has to be met before an Amber Alert could be issued. And in this case, as was mentioned earlier, when we became aware this possibly could be abduction and just not a lost child, that's when the determination was made to send the Amber Alert out. Now, as far as the Amber Alert going out, I'm going to read something here so I don't mess it up, but it's a technology issues with the alert that went out yesterday. So the initial alert, when it was going to be sent, should have gone out at 10:10. That alert went to media and to other law enforcement agencies. The alert going to the public didn't go out until 11:15 a.m. because of some technology issues, that an error in the system and the information from the original entry wasn't transcribed to go out to the public notification. So I've been advised that the New York Alert System and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children is examining the error and working on a solution right now. Does that answer your question?
Is there any indication that the lag in the Amber Alert caused any difficulties in resolving this case and recovering the body of the young girl?
No, not at all.
Just clarify the additional charges that will be filed.
It's a depraved murder charge. The general charge of depraved murder is acting under circumstances evincing depraved indifference to human life, recklessly engaged in conduct which creates a grave risk of death and death results. But the subdivision having to do with the child says the grave risk doesn't have to be of death. We create a grave risk of either serious physical injury or death, and death results, and it's a child less than 11 and you're an adult more than 18.
Does Ms. Nelson have other children, and if so, who are they in custody of?
It's my understanding that she has one other child in the custody of the child's biological father.
Someone who claims to be a relative of the biological father has been speaking to multiple media outlets, claiming that there's been a fight for custody over Halo Branton. Can you comment on that?
I cannot.
Does Ms. Nelson have any prior arrest records?
It's not something we could comment on.
Did she have legal custody of Halo at the time?
I have no reason to believe that she didn't.
Chief, do you know what time you first contacted state police about activating the Amber Alert system? Do you know when that was?
I really don't remember the exact time. I know it was in the morning that I was in contact with the major and we had been discussing it.
Have there been issues with this, errors with the system before? Is it something you've seen for the first time?
To my knowledge, it's the first time.
Did she go to GE Security for help, or did they discover her in that shed?
It's my understanding that they discovered her in their patrols.
And what's the significance?
Let me just step over a second.
I'm sorry.
She wasn't in a shed. The mother was not in a shed. The mother was in a heated building. This utility enclosure with the 8-foot drop was where this baby was dropped or placed or hidden.
But in the elements.
And I find it interesting that the DA said hidden. So placed, dropped, or hidden.
Yes.
But the mother was not in the elements.
No.
What's the significance of the address at Campbell Avenue and 12th Street? Was she, was that her house? Was she at a party there? What was that address?
That's the location that we were able to determine that she originated from before she walked onto the campus.
Does the mother and child have a residence in the community? Do they live somewhere?
They do live in the city.
So between that address and the GE campus, there's a significant cliff sort of drop off. Do you know how the mother and her child got from that address to the GE campus?
Not really. We can assume, but we don't know how she got down there.
How long has she lived in Schenectady and who was she staying with?
I don't have an answer for that.
Does she have a permanent address in the city? We were told that she might be in a self-shelter situation, something like that.
I don't know the answer to that either.
We were told in court this morning, or the judge was told in court this morning, that she moved to Schenectady to be with a boyfriend. Has that boyfriend been interviewed by police at this time?
That's not something that we can comment with on right now.
Can you describe more about how baby Halo was found by the team that was searching for her?
How the baby was found? I really don't know. I know that they were able to locate her, but I don't know the specifics behind that.
It was patrol officers from the department that found her, right?
It was members of our SWAT team that are patrol officers that located her. But I don't know the specifics about, other than they saw her.
I know it's still early in this investigation, but have we determined a possible motive here?
No.
Chief, you spent a lot of time, and all the crews did, looking for this child in very bad weather. Can you just talk at all about the emotional toll for all of the officers that were involved, looking for her for so long, with obviously the clock is ticking?
Yeah, I mean, I would think it's fair to say that, everybody, both the Schenectady police officers and all of our partner agencies, including our Unified Communication Center, everybody's shaken by this. Everybody can relate to a one-year-old child being helpless. And at the time, the adrenaline's rushing. We're motivated to find her, but after the reality sets in, it's definitely taking a toll on everybody. But we're all working through it. We're checking in on each other, and it's certainly a sad day for sure.
Chief, just to go back to your timeline, there's a posting, Facebook posting from Saturday around 8:16 p.m. It's to an account that is going to use this link to Persia, and it says, "Drunk ASF, drunk as fuck. Don't play with me right now. LMFAOO." Do we know if, I don't know if you're aware of this posting, but do we know where the child was? Was she with her mother at that time?
As I mentioned earlier, this is an active investigation, so that's something that we really just don't want to comment on at this time.
So at this point, is it unclear why she went from that Campbell Avenue address onto the GE plant campus?
Again, this is an ongoing investigation, not something we can comment on at this time.
So respectfully, we do have to kind of wrap up questions if that's okay. We're just going to get one or two more, and then we'll.
In regards to Ms. Nelson, are there?
So to answer your question, Bree, the mother, it was a tunnel / pipe in the ground. So it was, some reports were 10 feet deep, other said 8 feet deep. Either way, it was a significant drop into this pipe tunnel type thing. There was standing water at the bottom, and the water had gone up to baby Halo's chest. So the baby, her head was above water. What caused her to pass was hypothermia and exposure to the elements. Because again, on Saturday night, it got below freezing here in New York. So that's also why her charges went from second-degree manslaughter to second-degree murder. Glow with Glow, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Or any previous police reports of child abuse or neglect against her?
That's again part of our ongoing investigation we're looking into right now.
Yes, and just to, for those of you who may have come in a little late, the news reporter had mentioned the Facebook post. So let me actually, I do still have Miss Nelson's Facebook still open. This is the post that I had referenced at the beginning of the live. So on March 9th at 8:16 p.m., Miss Nelson posted, "I'm drunk as F. Don't play with me right now. LMFAO. At 9, I believe it was 9:12, 9:15. So Halo had last been seen at 9:15 p.m. Saturday. So just about an hour before, Mom posted this statement. So when the reporter asked that question and the police, officer said, I'm not gonna, this is an active investigation. I mean, she herself posted on her Facebook that she was drunk as F. So, oh, he did? I didn't even notice that he said the F word. I totally missed that. And I've actually this is the second time I'm watching the press conference. I'm going to have to go back and listen. Oh my gosh.
Did they bring charges against anyone else in this case outside of Ms. Nelson?
I really can't answer that right now. It depends on where the investigation goes.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you are just joining us now, we just finished wrapping up a news conference from the Schenectady Police Department as they detailed the finding of 10-month-old Halo Branton. We all got that Amber Alert on Sunday. Every time we get an Amber Alert, all of our hearts drop, and just breaking details coming in of how Halo Branton was found. At 11:04 p.m. on Saturday night, that's when GE workers notified police of a female trespasser. That female trespasser was Persia Nelson. After further investigation, a search started for baby Halo. Sunday morning, officials put out that Amber Alert. By 12:30 p.m., a GE worker found Halo. She was taken to Ellis Hospital, and that's where she died. That leads us to this morning. 24-year-old Persia Nelson, Halo's mother, was arraigned on a second-degree manslaughter charge in Schenectady City Court. You can see her there on your screen. Bail was set at $500,000. Now, Police Chief Eric Clifford with Schenectady Police Department called this a complicated case. He talked about how a handful of agencies assisted in this case. He called it a difficult case, and he did add that it's taken an emotional toll on everyone that was a part of this case. It's taken an emotional toll for our viewers, for us here at News Channel 13, as we learned a 10-month-old baby has died. Court documents detail Nelson dropped the baby down a 10-foot deep pipe access area. That's what court documents are calling it at GE's.
And so I'm thinking with the pipe access area, I don't know, it's hard to, I just envision like a round hole, like a pipe in the ground. And somebody had mentioned the comments. So let me go back to, yeah, so on her Facebook, 3,000 comments and 531 shares. Well, over 3,000 comments. Yes, dropped her, which tells me it was deliberate, in my opinion. If you drop someone down an 8-foot, you know, if you drop someone 8 feet down, I feel like it's deliberate. It's on purpose. Yep. So, and then obviously I put the angry face. But then looking at her other posts, she's getting a lot of comments just because there's people just posting, you know, comments of, you know, how they feel. So 2 days ago, I mean, I did look at some of this. Oh, and there's actually a GoFundMe. So actually, I'm going to copy this, copy link address. I'm going to put this back in. Oh, shoot, that's a super long. Okay, we're not going to do that. I can get the link after. She says, I love myself. Do you? You should. Unapologetically Persia. So yeah, just a lot of people posting on her things. Wow, some people are being really, really like not cool. Oh, here, this is interesting. Narcissists be like, yeah, I hurt you, but it was your fault. And then someone commented, was it Halo's fault? What you did to her? Okay, so we're going to go back over here. Yeah, Pookie, 8 feet. So in the article that I had read at the beginning, from the Daily Gazette, let me see if I can find it. One person had said, oh, here. So according to the district attorney, again, he stated that upgraded charge of second-degree murder comes after an autopsy on the child showed Halo died of exposure hypothermia. And he stated the baby had been dropped into a utility tunnel on the GE campus about 8 feet to the bottom where she was there, okay, that sentence doesn't make sense. Where there was standing water that came up to her chest. I think that she isn't supposed to be there. Where there was standing water that came up to her chest. Quote, the baby did not drown. The baby was in the water, which came up to her chest and around her head, but not her face. Oh my God. For some reason, I didn't catch the around her head, but not her face. And then, and then here, the prosecutor said 10 feet deep. So either way, 8 feet, 10 feet, either way, in my opinion, when someone drops a child down pipe access, which again, the prosecutor said a hole in the ground, essentially, in my opinion, that is deliberate. And so I Again, I don't know if baby Halo would have survived if it had been, it had been pretty warm up here. We were in the, the high 50s and the lows were in the mid 40s. And then this past weekend, we got a front came through and it was windy. It was below freezing. There was rain, snow, both. And what I also found interesting, which I'm glad I saw this again, was the charges based on the investigation in, quote, video footage, according to the allegations. So is it possible that General Electric had cameras that actually captured what had happened? I didn't catch that the first time. I just looked at it again and I was like, oh, it's based on, quote, video footage. Is it still second degree due to premeditation not being proven? Let me look up first degree murder in New York. All right, where is... Oh, here we go. Yes, so intentional murder is first degree. Second degree murder is intentional homicide. All right, I'm trying to see what the difference is. So, murder in the first degree in New York, a defendant is guilty of murder in the first degree when, with the intent to cause the death of another person, the defendant causes the death of such person or a third person, and the defendant was more than 18 years old at the time of the commission of the crime. And then second degree murder, so second degree murder just says a person is guilty of murder in the second degree when, with intent to cause the death of another person, he or she causes the death of such person. So they probably can't prove her intent. Well, but that says intent to cause. Like, what is the difference here? With the intent to cause the death of another person, the defendant causes the death of such person. Oh, but it does say the commission of a crime. I'm not sure. It reads the exact same thing. So there's got to be something that's different. But according to the penal law, that's what it says. Thanks, Ash, for being a member for 3 months. I'm going to see. Let me just look at. I don't like going to lawyer sites, but usually sometimes they actually spell it out a little bit more. Okay, so this shows, this also, this says with intent to cause the death of another person. Actually, let me share this tab so y'all can see what I'm looking at. So again, this is first degree murder. With intent to cause the death of another person, he causes the death of such person or of a third person, and either the intended victim was a police officer, a peace officer, a firefighter, EMT, ambulance driver, paramedic, physician, or registered nurse involved in a first response team. The intended victim was an employee of a state correctional institution or an employee of a local correctional facility. At the time of the commission of the killing, the defendant was confined in a state correctional institution or otherwise in custody. The intended victim was a witness to a crime committed on a prior occasion, and the death was caused for, to keep them quiet. The defendant committed the killing or procured commission of the killing pursuant to an agreement with a person. So, I would assume that's murder for hire. The victim was killed while in the course of committing or attempting to commit robbery, burglary, kidnapping, etc., etc., etc. So that makes sense now. So it wasn't in commission of another crime, although I suppose if she's trespassing, that would be another crime. But it wasn't a police officer, a first responder, a correctional officer. So that would push it down to second-degree murder. Right, Remy? It's a hole in the ground and a baby. Or just, I have no idea. It's bizarre. So Remy says it was down a 10-foot hole in the ground. What the heck could her intent have been besides that? Stash her, yeah. Clearly, I'm assuming, I don't know, without seeing this tunnel or this access area, was there, was there those metal ladders where you can crawl in and out, where the mom could have gone down there and got the baby? That's something, that we'd have to look at later on. So this last video was from about an hour before I went live. So this was just the most current information, just kind of summing up everything that we've talked about.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sabrina Dhami with your 13 Now update on this Monday, March 11th. And we start with a really sad update in the case of that missing baby who died. She was barely 11 months old. Her name was Halo Branton. Her disappearance in Schenectady sparked an Amber Alert sent out yesterday. Most of us got that on our phone yesterday morning. We just got an update from police, from authorities. And here's what the Schenectady County District Attorney had to say about the latest.
This morning, an autopsy was conducted by Dr. Eng at Ellis Hospital. Based upon his findings that this child died of exposure and hypothermia, the decision was made to file additional charges. The baby was dropped into this utility tunnel from a height of about 8 feet to the bottom of the tunnel where there was standing water. The baby did not drown. The baby was in the water, which came up to her chest and around her head, but not her face. Her mother was found in a GE security building, which was heated.
That was the Schenectady.
And it's interesting how convenient that mom was found in a heated building. Because I would assume that there probably are outhouses there on the GE campus that aren't heated. But I'm wondering how she got into the building that was heated. Did she just walk in? It wasn't locked, or, lots of questions.
The County District Attorney Bob Carney giving us the details of the autopsy results on that baby, and also new details on where she was found on the campus of GE. My colleague Stella Porter was at that news conference, and she has new details. In addition to that, to the mother now facing charges. Stella, she was in court this morning.
Sabrina, she was in court this morning on a manslaughter charge. We now know she's also charged with depraved murder. It's a special charge for someone who's over 18 and causes the death of someone who is under 11 years old. So that charge has now been added to what she was facing before in the death of her daughter, Halo Branton. So that 24-year-old mother was charged this morning. Her name is Persia Nelson. And we now know that she is also facing that murder charge. Police at this news conference talked about how they went from basically an investigation of a trespasser to then a massive search with canines and drones where they were looking for a baby. So all they could tell us was that this woman was allegedly trespassing on the GE campus, then didn't know where she was, wasn't able to tell security where she was, but apparently told them that she had lost her baby and wasn't sure where that baby was. So that set off a massive search.
Oh, and here's they actually did show a pretty good view of the main entrance of General Electric. And again, it is a fairly big campus, so this is just the entranceway, main entrance. Oh, utility tunnel design on Google. I didn't even think about doing that. Utility tunnel design. I'll let this play and I'm going to take a look.
And the search stretched into the morning, eventually led to this Amber Alert, and ultimately led to police officers from Schenectady Police Department finding this baby down a pipe. They said it was about an 8-foot drop into this pipe that had standing water in it, where they found Halo Branton. This baby brought her to the hospital where she was pronounced dead yesterday afternoon. So not many details police could provide us on why the mother was supposedly incapacitated in some way, didn't know where she was, and how she exactly ended up on GE's campus. So police are working on all that right now. DA Robert Carney says they're working on indicting her in county court, so that's going to be the next step as this case progresses. Sabrina.
It's just so sad, Stella, and I know our viewers have been reaching out, sharing obviously their heartbreaking feelings about this. And the police chief spoke to that as well at the news conference that just wrapped up about how hard this has been for him and the investigators working on such a sad case like this.
Yeah, my colleague Kumi Tucker asked how difficult it has been, knowing that there was this 1-year-old, just under 1-year-old out there somewhere, and police had no idea where she was and spent around 12 hours searching for her and ultimately found her, obviously not in good shape. So, the chief talked about just how difficult that's been for the department.
She sadly died of exposure and hypothermia. Stella, thank you for joining us for a few minutes. I know this is tough for us as reporters to cover as well. It's heartbreaking for us. So thank you for doing this for us today. I know it's important information that everyone really wants to know what happened to this little girl. So we appreciate you taking some time. We'll see with you live at 4 on News Channel 13.
Thank you, Sabrina.
Okay, so I did look up utility access pipe, and so it's what I had thought. It's like a well. When you think about a well, that's what it looks like to me. It's just more of a pipe, and that's stuck in the ground. But I'm glad that the reporter in that last segment said that baby Halo was dropped into this hole or this tunnel. She wasn't placed there. She was dropped there. And I know. I don't even know. And Remy, that's a good question. How did she even find it? That's a really good question. Was she home alone at the time she wandered off with the baby? Maybe I missed that part. That has not been stated. However, based on Snapchat videos that were posted that night, Saturday night, just before baby Halo was reported missing, Halo can be seen being held by her mom. And they were with other individuals. There were other people at the house. Whether or not that was true after she left, that I don't know. Yeah, many unanswered questions. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I, just watching the mom in court, Persia in court, she just had no emotion at all. And I mean, everyone deals with things differently. However, I don't know. Just seems like you would have some type of emotion when it's your baby that died. So I did post the GoFundMe link in the chat. I will post it once more. As of right now, actually, I can actually share this really quick. Just to kind of look at it together. It's raised just over $7,000 of a $15,000 goal. My brother, Amar Branton, lost his precious 11-month-old daughter tragically yesterday. As you can imagine, this is any parent's worst nightmare. Beautiful baby girl Halo was brought into this world on April 14th, 2023. She has one brother, Prince, 4 years old. His life, too, is forever impacted. After a report of Halo missing and an Amber Alert, Halo was found by search crews and rushed to a local hospital where she died due to her injuries. I am asking for donations to help this young, loving father with funeral expenses and to help him manage so he is afforded time needed with his son Prince as they grieve the loss of his precious daughter Halo. I do not want him to have to worry about anything other than his beautiful son and healing his heart. Amar is an amazing and loving father who works really hard so his children can thrive. Please donate to help this young family have the time they need to heal. If you are unable to donate, please help by sharing this post. And if nothing else, please pray for healing and health for this family. Halo's grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and friends are all devastated and mourning this tragic and senseless loss of this beautiful and precious baby girl. Rest in peace, Halo. You are now an angel. We will forever love and keep you in our hearts. Until we meet you again, we love you. And I think that I wouldn't have been able to say that better myself. So I will be following this closely. Again, Persia's next court date is the 14th, March 14th, I believe. Let me just double check that again. Yes, March 14th at 1:30 p.m. And that is going to be the preliminary hearing. However, it was stated that due to the district attorney filing the murder charge, that may not happen. It may change due to the change in charge. So again, Persia Nelson pled not guilty. Her bail was set at $500,000 cash. $1 million bond. Custody battle. So I'm not sure. That's a good question, because based on the GoFundMe, yeah, so I'm curious because dad had the son, but that could be a different mom, right? That's a good question that I don't know. Yep, I did read that. Yeah, that's something that, hopefully will come out as the investigation goes forward. But it was definitely sad when we got the Amber Alert. I remember my sister and I were in the car and our phones were going off, and I'm like, what is that noise? And so I was like, oh God, Amber Alert. And then when they canceled the Amber Alert, they said baby Halo had been found, but her condition was unknown. We're like, okay, they found her. That's great. And now we're, fast forward to today, and mom is being charged with her murder. So I want to thank everyone for being here. I very much appreciate it. And I am working on a few different stories, and I know Pookie just sent me another one that I'm going to look into. One that I want to go live about is out of Wisconsin, and it is about an accident between a semi and a tanker truck, I should say, a tanker truck and a van that was carrying, how many was it? 8 members of an Amish community. They were traveling from Virginia to Wisconsin, and 9 people total died in that accident. There was one sole survivor, which was a 2-year-old boy. And for some, in my opinion, miraculous reason, this man was able to pull the 2-year-old boy away from the wreckage before it engulfed in flames. So I am going to be looking at that one. So possibly once I look into what Pookie sent me, I could probably do a live on both of them at the same time. We'll see. But those are ones I'm working on. And if you have TikTok and you haven't followed me on TikTok, definitely do so. But I do post everything that I put on TikTok. I also post on Facebook or on YouTube. So you're not missing anything if you don't have TikTok. So thanks again. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day or night or morning, wherever you may be. And if I don't see you on these YouTube streets, I will see you all on the flip side.